All right, we're back here. I feel like I keep apologizing for the breaks, but this is just the reality of the situation. I'm here with Eli Loveman, myself, Joe Lossett. We're here for NRG Gaming, and we're heading into round 4 of our Team 10K Modern Legacy and Sealed Team event. And let's go ahead and put the payout up on the screen while the players are getting ready, just so you can see what's at stake here. If we have that, there it is. The money and points per team, as well as the winning team, all qualify for the Nerd Rage Championship at the end of the year, which is not very far away anymore. That'll be in January. So that's exciting. Hopefully there's a lot of interest in the players on reaching the top prize, and we're moving in. Hope you're enjoying being with us along the way. Eli, you doing good, man?
Yeah, this has been some great Manji so far.
Yeah, there's certainly been some interesting stuff, and we've got some wild ones this round. We can go ahead and go down to the table as they're shuffling up, and we are going to see that's cut off there a little bit, but it's Izzet versus Oops All Spells in Legacy, which is different than Oops All Spells was a few years ago, because now Oops All Spells actually gets to play lands that are sort of lands, even though they don't count as lands. We've got Rodney, Bedell, Noah Strassler, and Dominick Paolercio versus Ali Warfield, Kyle Reichard, and Piper Powell. And we're going to be watching Ali Warfield versus Rodney Bedell. Izzet, I mean, Eli, against any random combo deck, like Izzet kind of has the tools to interact with almost anything.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely prefer the light counter magic side of this equation. Mm-hmm. Oops All Spell is an interesting choice for Legacy. It's always been viable, or like Charbelcher or type strategies, cards that require you not to have lands in your deck. Mm-hmm. The printing of Battle for Zendikar, or not the Battle for Zendikar, but the most recent Zendikar meant that a lot of those other strategies you could port them over into other formats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
Legacy. True. Yeah, interesting what the Legacy build looks like now.
Right. Yeah. We see Charbelcher in Modern now, which we didn't used to because of the double-faced lands, and it does mean that Oops All Spells is able to actually play lands now. So there's more. You can be a little bit slower, probably play a little bit more interaction, as you're seeing updates on the players in the deck lists chart there. So
we saw Rodney just mulligan a hand that had multiple discard spells in the main.
Right, and because you have mana to play with now, as opposed to before, where you really couldn't waste any time. So, both players looks like on going to be short at least one, maybe 2 cards to start this game. Once they find hands that actually are going to work for them, I would say currently in Legacy, Doomsday is probably the king combo deck. Oops All Spells, some on the fringes, and yeah, we are on 5 cards.
For both players,
on both sides, yeah. So 7 cards each. This is a scenario where 7 cards each. I think that the cheap counter or the counter magic on the Izzet side is probably advantaged. But as you go lower in cards, I mean, it's hard for Delver to represent a clock and permission, but it's harder for the combo deck to actually function. What do you like? 7 cards versus like 5 or 4. Like, who gains? Do you think?
Knowing that there are discard spells present, I think that favors Oops.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, once those players are on low resources, but it looks like the Cabal Therapy is a miss here. I'm going to guess Forcible was the selection.
Yeah. Certainly Cabal Therapy is a card that's worse on lower hand sizes, just because you're more likely to miss. And Ali did have a daze there, it looked like, so she does have permission that is going to survive in hand as Rodney misses on the force on the Cabal Therapy, and then she has a Ragavan in a daze on a 5-card hand. I mean, that's already pretty decent.
The parade of beautiful dual lands continues.
That's a good point. We're not going to see any from Oops All Spell side though, and she leads off on a Ponder, leading to a shuffle. I thought there was a Ragavan in hand. Maybe I was wrong, but she may be just pondering anyway to look for a Force of Will, seeing the need to defend herself.
I'm assuming the kill condition is Balustrade Spy here.
Yeah.
I think that's probably good news. It's not a Charbelcher based deck. So there'll be a higher threat density here.
Right.
4 mana is already online as a Dark Ritual. We're just missing a payoff card, it looks like. But, oh wait, are we going for it here? I think the daze is known information, right? Oh, that's a Spirit Guide in the hand, though. So, unless they're... Yeah, and a second daze is not available either, so... Yeah, pay for daze. And that's it.
That is certainly one way of representing it. And yeah, there you go. Mull to 5, whiff on a therapy, and then turn 2, take it down. So Rodney and Bedell, for the team of Bedell, Reichard, and Paolercio, is up a game. And here we are. And we switch over to Modern, and I wonder, is this game 1? Have they not even started yet? That is...
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Oops. Oh, but they took 4 mulligans, 2 a pair. So. Maybe there was some discussion going on in between the players.
Maybe. I mean, Hardened skills can have... Okay, so this is a Mull to 5 also? It is. I mean... 1, 2, 3, 4... This looks like a 5 versus a 7. This could still be game 1.
It looks like we have Murktide and not Grixis Death Shadow. Judging by the Spire Bluff Canal.
Okay. Right.
And I believe that was a counterspell that was ditched.
Okay.
And a bobble that was triggered.
Okay, so this is confirmed game 1, but yeah, I believe we have the archetype on the left incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Scales versus Tempo, Murktide, whatever you want to call it. It's the blue-red deck. It's got Channelers, Ragavans, and Murktide regions, all new cards as threats, as well as some counter magic in the form of actual counter spell, maybe a Force of Negation or 2, or an Archmage's Charm. It doesn't have a ton of expensive spells, but it has usually a light sampling of those kinds of effects.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're looking for... Now there's a Zubas. There's a 1/1 flyer that flipped over, and we're looking for a treasure token, whereas Kyle Reichard, I mean, he has Hardened Scales to start with. There is a Walking Ballista in hand. Walking Ballista is going to be very good early game, as that Dragon Channeler is not Delirium.
Declines to deploy Zabaz, as it would just be a 1-mana 1/1 in Kyle's deck.
All right, there's a Welding Jar and Urza Saga, I have to imagine, and here is a Ballista.
Land, right?
Here is
that's a pathway. Usually these Hardened Scales decks play a green-white pathway, I believe.
Okay, what are we? Oh, there we go. I don't understand why we had a proxy for the land, but all right. Anyway, so yeah, Ballista comes down.
This is why he declined to deploy the 1-mana 1/1 for the
I see. Yeah, so he's gonna
evaluating his own game plan over stealing the opponent's.
Mm-hmm.
This consider might be in response to the Walking Ballista.
No, I'm sure it is, hoping to somehow manage to find Delirium, which I'm not even sure it's possible. It does not successfully happen, so that picks up back one of the mulligans. I'm curious. I'll try and find out later on, for my own curiosity, why there's a proxied land in the deck.
No. It's just a double face like checklist. It's a checklist card.
Oh, it is a checklist card for... Okay. I understand now. I thought it was a checklist card representing something. I said there was a Saga because that was the land with the most weird text I could think of. But you're right. Okay, this does make sense. All right, 6/6 Murktide comes down. I'll try and do a better job of interpreting the board.
I would rate this Murktide a B in terms of size.
Sure, but it's much bigger than a 1/1 Walking Ballista. Let's see if...
Either player has a third land to deploy, but both have lots of action.
All right, let's go ahead and stay here for a minute. It's Legacy's ready to go, but
let's see how this turn ends at least. It looks like there's not going to be any action here.
I guess we have to go back to Legacy because the last game only took 2 turns, so we got to go back and see how that plays out.
There'll be plenty of time for Archmage's Charm.
We might be able to come back, and it might still be this turn. So let's go ahead and go to Legacy and see if Ali Warfield can defend herself a little better against Rodney Bedell's Oops All Spells deck.
One thing about the Oops deck is that it plays nicely against Force of Negation. I'm not sure if Warfield is packing any of those, but usually there's a couple on the sideboard.
That is very true. As it is a creature-based. Well, yeah. I mean, it's tough to pull the trigger on Force of Negation on something like Dark Ritual, and then if once it fires off, it's too late. As Narcomoeba powered Cabal Therapies will clean out the counters afterwards.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of redundant mana in Rodney's deck. There's 8 action cards. Then there's the kill conditions with the Dread Return that usually was picked up, as well as Narcomoeba, and other than that, it's just mana and some interactive cards.
So Dread Return and a Chrome Mox look to be the choices to return to the bottom of the deck. That's Dread Return's nice. You don't want that in your hand anyway.
Chrome Mox a little loose on the low resources of 5.
Yes, definitely.
But I only kept 7. I see a Daze. Probably looking to fetch to set this up here. Yeah.
This may be a deck where there might be some specific one-ofs in the Oops All Spells deck, like the Dread Return, where if that actually gets snagged by the Ragavan, that might actually cripple the deck.
I was the victim of that. I was definitely the victim of that in Las Vegas.
All right, so let's see. She goes off with a Ponder. Why don't you explain to us how that went while she works on this Ponder?
Oh yeah, my Shadow Spear was nicked, and I was unable to trample over the stolen Ornithopter for the win with my Inkmoth Nexus.
I see.
Even if it was a comedy of errors, but I ended up getting that match. Ragavan was not able to pilfer me twice.
Yeah, Ragavan is tough when the opponent has 25 one-mana creatures. All right, Rodney Bedell draws the turn and passes.
That makes these Dazes more live.
That is true.
Murktide as well in the Ponder pile. Can get a clock started on turn 3, which is fine if Rodney doesn't deploy a land.
Yeah, I mean, all Warfield really needs here is she needs some defense and then eventually a threat. And okay, there's a Craft Digger's Cage. That's a pretty big in the form of defense. And Rodney's counter magic in the form of Pact Negation, that works offensive. That's offensive counter magic, not defensive counter magic. And Craft Digger's Cage gets into play unopposed. And another
continuing to ponder, finding a land and a Ragavan, but she thinks she can do better. I'm sure she's correct. This Ponder will be the 5th card in the graveyard. The Regent. So she has a land rolled up if she got rid of the other ones. A Force of Will picked up. Yeah, she's got a Steam Vents. Yeah, I don't know about this one. We have the Pact of Negation for that Force of Will, but we need a Disenchant. We need to get a Black Source. We have 4 mana locked up between the Spirit Guides, the Pact, and the Dark Ritual. Narcomoeba's not going to do it. Okay. Black Source.
There's a nice land.
Okay. Interesting that Rodney didn't deploy the Black Source initially.
Earlier?
Yeah, to play around Wasteland, so Rodney could get the chain going by going pay 3 life, Dark Ritual, Spirit Guide.
Okay, there is the Disenchant. That's a Foundation Breaker, which is able to kill the Craft Digger's Cage.
Moxing away probably the Summoner's Pact. I'm not much of a Titan player. Can Summoner's Pact get black creatures?
I believe it's just green.
Yeah.
Zenith gets any color.
Zenith is just green as well.
Okay.
Eldritch Evolution, a Court of Calling, or any color. Yeah. Okay. So this is. Yeah. The Summoner's Pact is not an avenue to victory, merely an avenue to mana or a Disenchant. Bolt of the Fate, an additional bolt. Maybe you could brainstorm for a 3rd one. Lock the game up. 6. No delirium. No delirium though means okay. No need to get aggressive here.
I mean it's only one more turn anyway for Rodney, and
I think the blue card for the Force of Will.
Magic, that's gonna do it. So we will see a game 3 here.
Rodney was actually close to.
Well, sort of.
There was a Disenchant and and 6 mana available. Or Dark Ritual would be 3. Yes, Disenchant and 6 mana available. Just missing a payoff card that game.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. I believe Rodney's only going to fight both games now.
Well,
I mean, yeah, this is a
game's dead.
I realize.
You see those SpongeBob sleeves? I believe those are the mark of the Zoomer.
Yeah.
I was the victim of a few of those sleeves during the Vegas tournament. They've all kind of convened around that as their mark.
Yeah, SpongeBob sleeves and a Hello Kitty sweatshirt. That's the.
Although you see the Zoomers packing as many Modern Horizons 2 cards as you can cram into a deck.
Well, that doesn't really identify them specifically, as that seems to be pretty much everybody is playing as many those cards as they can be.
Fair enough.
Let's go ahead and check in on Modern real quick if we can while they shuffle up. Although, well, it looks like they're ready to go. You know what? We'll stay here. They're ready to go.
Looks like Hardened Scales picked up that first game with the Ravager and Ballista. Oh, and then, okay, we see a payoff card, 2 lands, 2 payoff cards, 2 lands, 3 payoff cards. Wow.
All right. Well, these.
Okay, so turn 1, he can deploy the. I believe the second payoff card's name is Undercity Informant.
And that's the one that can be. So there's the one that can be bolted if there's not actually a fourth. They both require 4 mana.
Yes, one is activation and 3, and the other is 4.
Right.
Can slow play around the days. Tap land, go. Yeah, okay, so days is not the worst because you can just. Okay, that's annoying, but.
Whoa.
Okay. Whoa. All right. Yeah, land pedal guide. Not going for it here. Interesting. It is of note that the Delver decks don't always play the max number of Wastelands. Not that they play Expressive Iteration and Murktide Regent. They're more interested in developing their own mana. So you usually just see a couple.
All right. So
I'm not sure about this. Though. This enables days.
Warfield has a Delver here.
Delver on the field, a will in hand, but she needs 2 pieces of counter magic.
I mean, that's asking a fair amount. But it's not. Is that the Xantid Swarm? I think was just drawn by Rodney.
Green Source was just taken away though.
Or maybe it was a. Yeah. I mean, well, there's Lotus Petals and things like that. Maybe it wasn't a Xantid Swarm. Was it Carpet? It was a green card.
Either way, a Xantid Storm would not. I don't think would have been worth deploying especially considering that you have Pact Negation.
Yeah.
Carpet, I think, would have been a fine choice to sacrifice one of your temporary mana sources in order to get it on the field. You kind of break even that way. So I think your initial call of Xantid Swarm is probably correct.
All right, Delver Seekers comes in for 1 after not flipping.
Okay, looking for a mana source. There it is. There is a mana source. Okay, so we'll see how much fireworks are going to happen here. Xantid Swarm going away, yeah. All right. Can pay for a daze. Cannot play around daze and lightning bolt.
Well, let's see how this plays out here. And with a Pact in hand.
The nice thing for Rodney is that, assuming that, well, I guess actually the Pact of, never mind. The Pact of Negation is going to make, this is going to mean, so this is a make or break turn. Because Allie could let the Pact of Negation resolve and then counter the threat card again.
Right.
Okay, first things first, we're going to use Force of Will. Pitching a Brainstorm. Pact of Negation. Now we daze. Floating mana.
What is you're right. What is being dazed? Oh, okay. She's dazing the Pact. Okay, so this is.
Yeah, you need to pay. Let's see here.
Yeah. So you're
It's
right.
gonna
So
let
okay,
it.
so
It's gonna let it go and attempt to deploy a threat card next turn.
yeah. So that was like you're saying that.
Rodney's very concerned about lightning bolt here.
Yeah, that could have been gone a little differently and perhaps turned out better for Warfield by letting that
force of
pack
negation.
resolve.
Warfield has force of negation in hand. So that actually would have been lethal, I believe, if Rodney paid for no because force of negation can't counter the threat card. So it would have she would have had to counter the pact of negation, and then Rodney's not on the hook to pay the 5 mana. Okay, man, this is a lot.
All right, so Insight to the Aberration now online and coming in here, and both players with somewhat fewer resources here.
Card. Okay, a day's live. What is Rodney's third card? It's Spirit Guide, Threat card.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So mana is really what Rodney needs to draw here before this Delver, the backside of the Delver, Insight to Aberration, is able to kill him, which he probably has some time here. The problem is that Warfield is not out of impactful cards either.
The lands also deal you a lot of damage. Yeah, okay, 3 bricks. Yeah, I think that's a good shuffle. Force of negation is okay, but you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Ritual would be lethal if it resolved, but Allison has a force of negation. Land will force a daze. A pact of negation, right? No.
All right, so that was a blank for Rodney. Warfield draws another brainstorm. Yeah, this is going to get away from Rodney here. Not that he never really had the game in hand, but it's getting worse, which is just what's bound to happen in a scenario like this, where the Delver deck has plenty of cards that can draw to improve its position, and Rodney's got plenty of blanks in his deck that are going to be worthless.
So, not quite all 5, but 4. I'll give it an A-.
A- is a pretty good score. Delver comes in for 3. Rodney at 13.
Oh, okay.
10. It still has time. Okay.
So this is step 1. The force of negation. No counterspell.
That's okay. There's a Spirit Guide. This
is it.
Can't be forced back. Yeah, force of negation is no good here.
Yeah, you needed to hit the dark. You needed to cut the mana there. Yeah.
All right.
And that's it.
All right. So.
All right. So now we just need Rodney to properly execute with his Cabal therapies.
Right. So the way that Rodney can screw this up is by Dread returning first and letting the Force of Negation pick it off. But if therapies preemptively clear the way, then
I think the bridge was sideboarded out, but he has 4 creatures, so he gets 1.
Oh
no! Oh,
that wasn't the way. Oh, here's the pact. No, he doesn't.
No, that's it.
Oh dear, that's it. Well,
all right.
Maybe there was no. We see the therapy right there.
So what happened there was Rodney did not have access to bridge from below, so he only gets 1 crack at the Cabal therapy.
Right. Interesting. Well, okay, so that is the end of that one, and we're back to Modern, and we see a Murktide Regent facing down a Hardened Scales and the Ozolith.
Oh, okay, so the white splash is for Ingenious Smith, a card that both has +1/+1 counter synergies and artifact synergies.
Mm-hmm. And you can see Warfield gesticulating there, probably fairly thrilled and just entertained by the fact that she took down that match in heart-wrenching or heart-pounding fashion.
Yeah. Force of negation, very tenuous. It was a tenuous solution, exactly. But it ended up working out there.
Yeah, just barely. But it was enough. Okay, so it looks like Counterspell takes down Walking Ballista here as we move into this one. We see no counters on the Ozolith right now. If we can bring up the Ozolith, let's go ahead and do that. That is a very powerful card with a Hardened Scales, even without it, it does a lot of work. I can see the director is being consulted by somebody else right now, so maybe we're not going to get a response on the Ozolith, but I can tell you if you're unfamiliar with the card, it's a 1-mana artifact, and whenever you have a creature leave play with counters on it, the counters go to the Ozolith, and then I believe it's the beginning of, is it the beginning of
beginning of your
combat?
combats.
Okay,
yeah,
upkeep. The counters move from the Ozolith onto a creature of your choice if you want. And so the way that works is all these, with Hardened Scales especially, is the counters multiply as back and forth and get out of hand.
Yeah, your 1/1 dies, the Ozolith gets 2 counters. You go to the beginning of combat, the Ozolith gives 3 counters, so it adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Ooh, Engineered Explosives is really going to clean up this game, though.
Yeah.
Or maybe not this game, but at least we'll stabilize the situation here with those powerful permanents.
Yeah, Explosives is unbelievably good against.
Yeah, and so the way you see it, you put Bolt in hand because you need that one later, and then you use Explosives now just to make sure nothing gets out of hand. Or at least you could deploy Explosives now. Are we going for?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, just Bolt
if the life totals are
land in hand.
I would imagine that you would play the Explosives at 1 here, and just ignore the creature, but maybe the life totals aren't updated from us switching formats.
The Ingenious Smith's not the biggest concern right now, but it does grow.
Right. Okay, so the life totals just changed. Okay, so 14. Assume 14 is right for Kyle Reichard.
And the Hardened Scales deck doesn't have any fetch lands in it with his pathways, so 20's life is probably correct there.
Yeah. So, and then with the Lightning Bolt in hand,
I think Kyle
might be thinking
for cracking it now.
Yeah.
Cracking it now. If he wants to hold up Lightning Bolt. I don't know if he's played a land for turn, but I feel like it's free to take the hit here. Yeah, this is scripted. We're not gonna fire it off just yet, though. We're considering our options.
Land comes down also, so Kyle just has Lightning Bolt left in hand and nothing else.
I like this play because if the situation gets out of control, you can always respond with Engineered Explosives, and otherwise you kind of fog and Antonio from deploying any 1-drops that turn, and you see he draws 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if he has a 1-mana artifact, he can't really deploy it to pump the Smith. Yeah, and he's going to go for an artifact here. Now you can just say, okay. Kill your stuff in response. Yeah, shaking his head no.
Yeah, this is, okay, so the blowing up now.
Yeah, going to use the fetch land here because it's the same life as using the Fiery Islet, but take 1 less damage in the long run. Oh, unless he doesn't have an island. Which might be the case. I know this deck is very heavy on dual lands.
Well, there's already 1 island in play, so
yeah. Looks like.
Oh, there you go. There's the second one. So yeah, Ballista comes on as a 1/1. If the Hardened Scales had remained in play, we've got an extra counter. So that was okay. This is a pretty good recovery here. Ingenious Smith comes in for 2.
I don't think that Ravager is Lightning Bolt proof either. Only 2 additional artifacts in play. Could consider bolting the Ballista in response to the Ravager, though. 1 card left in hand. Yeah, I think that's a fine play.
Let's see. Kyle's going to have to sort this out.
The presence of Inkmoth Nexus, though, means you might want to take out the Ravager, even though that means the Ballista would grow in response. This is a tough call. Yeah. Ravager plus Inkmoth Nexus, or walking Ballista with 3 counters. Your solution is great, so it takes 2 damage for his trouble here, too.
Yeah. This is, the Ravager certainly, with Inkmoth Nexus on the board, having the Ravager out there is a little frightening, but
it's got 2 draws at a way to move Ravager this turn.
Yeah.
And nothing. There will be no artifact creatures to suit up. Antonio is tapped out.
Yeah, that's true. If it happens now, then
Channeler. Not the best. Channeler is not a defensive player. Was that what I thought it was?
I didn't catch it. I don't know.
We have that Mind Control from Mixland and Transient Melody. That, well,
What
I
do you
assume
think
the
it was?
Ravager would Entrancing Melody.
Oh, okay.
Blue
Well,
X,
that
take
would work.
control of the creature
That
with
would work.
converted mana
Yeah,
cost
yeah, yeah.
less.
Yeah. Well, that would be great.
Nice use for your 4 mana. Don't get to surveil with your channeler, but I'm sure Kyle's not too upset. Although the hands are in the head, so he's definitely going to consider all his options. Yeah,
Whoa.
he's gonna wait.
That's interesting. Given that now the Nexus is going to be animatable. And then a worker, and this is
Maybe trying to set up a scenario where the Ravager gets pumped and then you grab it. Oh, Luris. The ever-looming threat of Luris.
Mm-hmm.
Delirium, I believe, is inactive. I see.
Let's see. One instant.
2 instants, 3 lands, and a
explosives.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
Well, it will be set up for next turn if he wants it. It's got a sorcery in hand, but no blocking for now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Just going under the bus.
Looks like. Yeah. So I think the potential attack there is for 8.
Oh no. He did have
Is delirium. Okay, so the trades with the Smith. That would be a Steam Vents.
The card underneath Counterspell is Expressive Iteration. You could get greedy and try to grab that Luris, but 8 life is not a lot to work with.
Yeah, I
But I don't know if you can beat.
I mean,
well, he can't cast Luris. Okay, only 1 white mana available. Yeah, I think you can't play around a top decked white source here then. You just don't have enough life total to work with. There's no guarantee the Luris even comes down next turn.
Right. Yeah, and this is. It looks to me like an attack for 6 if Antonio wanted to go for everything with. No, maybe 7. I didn't miss Darksteel Citadel. So Ravager plus 2 from Workers 3, 2 Nexus is 5, and Citadel would be 6. An Esper Sentinel. I mean, not to say necessarily that Antonio could go all in here on the Ravager, because that seems very all in and scary, but.
I think the Darksteel Citadel should probably be converted into damage, but other than that, I don't think any move should be made. No, I just think he's going to keep his mana around. A fine decision as well. Okay. Serum Visions. Oh, that's tricky. Yeah,
Look at that. The poison counter that production thought we weren't going to need, but they put in anyway, and there it is. Good job, guys.
Oh, what is this? Hammer Time is like the best deck in Modern. Of course you need the poison counter.
We were talking about whether we need it for Legacy, I guess. Yeah, we definitely need it for Modern. Okay, so. Ooh.
A Murktide Regent will play defense.
And then was that Serum Visions
another one? There's no backup. Yes. Serum Visions plus an additional Murktide. So, yeah, a Murktide by itself, if Antonio doesn't want to play around a removal spell, let's see here. He can load up a blocked creature, sacrifice the worker is 2, the land is 3. It just barely has enough life. I suppose the Inkmoth Nexus can also be converted into. If he wants to go all in and sacrifice both Inkmoths, the Citadel, that's 3 up to 4.
Ooh, this is not going to be a huge Murktide.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary. You just need to make it big enough to get in the way.
And if Kyle can survive the turn and then get the second Murktide down, they would both be pretty large. But
yeah, 6 artifacts is going to be enough to move 6 power onto
It was
a forest, not a plains. Yeah, so his hand is forest Luris, so.
Yeah.
If he wanted to go all in before, if he was waiting for some sort of backup, he did not receive any, but he has lethal in play if he decides to make the move. 1, 2.
Yeah,
4,
you're right.
5,
it would cost him everything, and it would be lose to a gut shot. So that's a little frightening, but it is there.
Kyle has not been working with a lot of resources. He just had the card in his hand previously that he's been sandbagging, and the serum visions that you can assume was drawn off the top. So he knows the Kyle's hand isn't the best, but it doesn't take much for this to be broken up. No, but he thinks that it's not getting any better, maybe.
Yeah. So here comes everything. Let's see. 1, 2.
Yeah, you just have to sacrifice the Ravager, the Ink Monster, and the Citadel and put them on to... I guess it's not the... Well, he blocks... So he tries to put everything on the worker, and it dies. You would be left over with a 2/2 Esper Sentinel, which is better than nothing, but it's not a lot.
Yeah, it is not a lot.
Maybe he thinks that's a fine worst case scenario.
He could also just try and overpower the Murktide Regent with a 5/5.
Oh, this is an interesting line. Yeah, this is much better than my suggestion. Yeah.
So this is a 5. Then you could stop here.
Yeah, and say, all right, and now we're done.
This would drop Kyle to 5, pick up his 3rd poison, and the Murktide is dead.
He has enough lands to cast both of the I don't know if the Murktide is on top of his deck, but if it is, he has enough to both steal, and then that's the 5th card in the graveyard, and then deploy a Murktide. It will give Serum Visions was the top card. Interesting. I guess he wanted to grow the Murktide by cycling the Serum Visions.
Sure.
Still tricky though.
Yeah, that's going to be complicated.
Now he's blocked out of stealing the Ravager with the way he set things up. Maybe he feels that's not good enough.
Esper Sentinel trigger
was missed, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, there wasn't, yeah, it doesn't look like Antonio jumped on that one this time. We saw him pointed out the previous turn cycle and was very clear about it, so it looks like we did miss it on this one.
Quickly. So the judge might have something to say about it, but we'll see. Yeah, the spell is resolved now. You can steal the Sentinel and deploy Murktide, or you can just deploy the Murktide, or you can, yeah. If you want to do both, you have to resign yourself to leaving the Ravager play.
Well, that seems like a poor plan. The Murktide should be big enough to deal with. So if this Ravager jumps onto the...
Yeah, looking to go for both spells. Okay, now the way this works is that because even if you've missed the trigger previously... Oh, okay, well... Even in theory, anyway. The way this works is that you missed the trigger previously, that it's no longer the first spell. So
yeah.
Looking to not donate.
All right, 6/6 Ravager. So how big is this Murktide? Needs to be.
This Murktide is an A+. It's got all 5 counters.
It's 6/6. That's not enough. That means it has to chump block the Nexus.
Oh, that's a brush land. But it looks like the Luris is not going to be the key here. I think
Well, yeah, Hangerback will make
both of these threats lethal.
Yeah, both it's illegal already. Yeah, because the Hangerback's not even relevant.
It's the top deck. Yeah, 2 artifacts in 1.
All right. So Antonio takes down that one, but as you can see on the game score there, his teammates did not carry weight for him, and so the team of Piper Powell, Kyle Reichard, and Ali Warfield will win this match and advance to 4-0, looking in pretty good shape to potentially be in the top 8 tomorrow. That is the end of round 4. We're moving through our team 10K here. We'll show you again what the players are playing for, and we'll get things situated to move on for the future. We've got 10,000 on the line today for the team event. Also a 5K Modern event tomorrow, and then next month, December 11th and 12th, we're going to be in Milwaukee for a 5K Legacy on Saturday, 5K Modern on Sunday. So put that on your schedule, whether you're coming into play or whether you're just going to watch it with us here. Meanwhile, as we're moving through here, we're going to be swapping commentators after this next break. So Eli, thanks for being with us, man. Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Great, man.
Okay, good. All right.
Lots of love for expressive iteration.
Yeah, there was a lot of expressive iteration. I don't know. That Oops All Spell was pretty exciting, though. I was that was a fun one. What else stood out to you today? What you saw?
We saw Flyers and tempo kind of matter in sealed. I don't think we saw any bomb rares kind of take over a game.
No.
Lots of Delver action in Legacy. We saw Monastery Mentor make about 5 tokens maybe
in
for the
one
game
turn.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we saw a lot of Death Shadows. And Grixis Death Shadows seems to be the deck that a lot of teams brought for their modern seat. So we'll see if that continues on this afternoon. Anyway, Eli, thanks for being with us. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be back with Becky Bell for the rest of the afternoon.
No problem. Take care.